Hello and welcome back to the table. You are with Finding a Tori, a weekly TTRPG podcast where a group of friends and gamers get together to discuss all things gaming and a little bit about our own world of Atoria. We are here. It is a morning episode. Everyone has their caffeine in front of us.
Are we here?
I think we're here.
I'm not quite here yet. My tea is too hot to drink.
The caffeine has not been ingested. I am not here.
I have not had any caffeine yet.
Jess is still materializing on our plane right now. Who you will not hear this morning is Tori. She has not been able to join us today on a bad, not feeling great day, and we definitely understand that. We definitely miss her. But say hello, Jess.
Hello.
It really is that bad over there.
My caffeine.
Just watching the piping hot steam come off of the tea. That's not happening for a while over there unless you're willing to risk blisters.
I know.
There's ice.
I
know.
Arcadia, say good morning.
Good morning.
Your beverage seems to be properly heated over there.
Properly cooled at this point.
And cooled at this point. We're going to have a little discussion today. Very non-uniform, light, little bit of a getting to know the people that you hear on the podcast and how they game and a little bit about what they prefer about gaming. Now, we're not here to
run away
to create very strong opinions on anything, but just preferences and some wacky things. And I think I wanted to do it a little bit of an interview style so we can kick a topic around and discuss it amongst ourselves. I'll give a little bit of opinion as well.
Wait. You're going to share an opinion?
I might.
That never happens.
I might tell you why I'm sharing it too. So three of us have some experience varying in running a game in the storyteller, dungeon master, game master slot. And one of the things that I always think is interesting to hear from people who do that is what sort of gamer, and this is just kind of where I want to start the conversation. I have a list of questions. This isn't at the top of it. It's my favorite one. And that's why I guess we're starting here. But if you had to think of a player type when you're sitting down to run a game, depending on what kind of game you're running, that you're just like, oh my goodness, this person is going to do X and it's going to throw me off. Would you say that you have an archetype? Maybe is it the lone wolf that won't stay on the path? Side quest Sammy that's always off doing something else. Is it that metagamer that's going to sit there and say, hey, actually, you said in the kitchen 3 weeks ago that, you know what I mean? Or the people that are sitting there quoting books at you? Is it the rules lawyers that we dislike the most? What, from a GM standpoint, I guess not as a preference of what you dislike or like, but where have you found challenges? And maybe give me an example that doesn't involve a character that I play.
I think... different points in time, different people. I don't... That's so ridiculously hard to answer.
Do you want me to go first?
Go ahead, Jess.
Because you can have like spotlight hogs. You can have those, main character syndrome players. You can have, like I said, the lone wolf or the people that I like to think of as following other folks home from the grocery store because they're just off on whatever side quest. Just what have you found difficult, our table, other tables, just in your experience?
So if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you kind of know that I'm both, compared to everybody else here, I'm very much a newbie at both playing TTRPGs and as a GM. I only have like a year or so of experience with both of those things. So this is actually not something that I have experienced myself because I have only played with, friends who don't want to screw me over. So, but this is, as a GM, kind of my worst fear that I will eventually run into. And that is, because I spend hours the day before prepping what I want to happen. Like I put it up, and I have Google Docs of campaign sessions that I wrote. I have notes. I have all kinds of stuff. And this should tell you how comfortable I am with improvisation. Not very. Mm-hmm. So my worst fear is that I'm going to present the plot hook of the week, and then the players all just collectively decide, fuck that, we want to go over here. And then I have nothing prepared for that thing over there.
Mm-hmm. And if that has not happened yet, it's showing up soon. It's
right.
just law of averages. It's going to.
I should not have mentioned that.
Well, no, not intentionally, but it's just one of those things that if it hasn't happened to you yet, it's going to happen, and it's scary, especially for those high prep situations. I think there's conversations to have around more of those mechanics and what we can do when those situations happen. But yeah, so the chaotic players, the players that are not going to jump onto the hook, as it were, present a lot of random challenges quickly.
Yeah, so an example from the recent session that we did is I had a tournament that I wanted everybody to participate in that I had planned, and I was like, all right, well, I'm not 100% guaranteed that they're gonna, decide to do it. So I had like 10 different ways to force everybody to do it. Like I over-prepared, forced them to do it. And I mean, basically they saw a poster and went, oh, tournament for money. Sweet, let's go sign up. Like, right. I didn't need all of that other stuff. Okay.
Conductor Jess is pouring coal into the engine for the train to get us down the road. And we were like, hey, we'll meet you there. And sometimes those, because once again, had you not prepared 10 ways, we would have been like, there's no way we're doing a tournament today.
Right.
It's just not happening, guys.
Yeah.
And it is that almost law of Murphy that, they're going to get wild, and the things, and I almost dread sometimes, back up Jess's point, when you're describing a scene in the world and you already know what you want them to do, but then you give just a little bit of flair to something and they're like, oh, a pig judging contest today? Luckily, my slate's clean. I can go right now with you. Attacking dragon, nothing. Come on, let's go. And you just don't know what it's going to be. So that's interesting. I want to come back to it too, because I think that you're getting into another point that we want to address more later. Arcadia, same sort of question. When you're at a table trying to run a game for everyone, what's the one thing that you know is going to be a big hurdle from a player gameplay sort of standpoint?
I don't know if it's a big hurdle, but the player that would frustrate me the most, sorry guys, because I know a lot of people play this way, is people who are a player who is just so absolutely married to rules as written.
Okay.
Because I think, my own opinion, know a lot of people will disagree with me, that there's no such thing as a rule in the game. I think there's guidelines to make play fun, and that we're all there to tell a story. And so especially if I'm in the role of the GM, mm-hmm. I view my role as someone who is maybe guiding the story, or the caretaker of the story, mm-hmm. While the players are telling the story. But like, if in order to do that, there can be times when rules as written isn't the best choice for the story.
Sure.
And so as a GM, whether it is, you didn't lay out the encounter at a level that matches the players, or, whatever, or they didn't talk to the right exact person to get the information. For me, there's always got to be that flexibility to pivot so that the story can develop and go on the path that it needs to follow. Everybody can still have fun. And I do want to be clear. That's not me saying like, oh, like everything has to be hunky dory. Like people don't have bad rolls, or of course they do. I'm just not going to accidentally do a TPK because I did an encounter wrong behind the scenes.
Right.
You know
That
what I mean?
ability to pivot in the problems that come. I always, and maybe I'm incorrect in doing, I always say, well, that's something that you handle at session 0. And everybody knows, that the rules will either be followed to the letter, or I might, take some liberties, but it can come down to certain things. And I think that the muddiest of waters around that is if we're applying that to everyone.
Right.
And that's where you can get into, if it's rules is written for everybody except for Steve, because it's Steve's first time playing an orc barbarian, and we're just going to let him slide on that.
Right.
You can get into some inequity waters there, but exactly. I think that if you are entrusting, because that's what we do, a GM to, I came up with a word that's probably been used, but funcilitate. If you're a funcilitator, then you're kind of entrusted to make sure that if the rule damages the game or the story, you have the ability to work around that if it's in the shared interest of the group. But at the same time, if you're on the other side of that and you've all looked at each other and said, we've read the rules and we know the rules and we're going to play by them, if somebody stands up and goes, hey, the rule says that, then, I think it's that social agreement session 0 stuff. But it's a very good point, because if they know the rules, they're going to tell you all about them.
And I think I agree with you. It is a session 0 point. And not that it's happened often, but there's those occasions where you do something outside the rules. Maybe people are aware, maybe they're in the moment, maybe they're not. Don't give me grief about it. I made a choice as a DM for a reason, for the story. And if you're sitting at my table, then you probably know that I don't play rules as written.
Sure. Yeah, that's been communicated, and I just think the surprises.
Yeah.
To get away from. So
So anyways, that's I don't know. I don't feel like I have a lot of problems with players.
Yeah, it's like I also play a very flexible.
Yeah.
Rules as written could be loose guidelines, but like I believe I made it clear in my session 0 that those can be the default guidelines, but if something comes up, then I'll make a ruling at the time that it's like, I don't like that one, so I'm not going to use it.
How about
or whatever?
Yeah,
But
right.
I've got a lot of stuff that I choose as table rules to not do that are in the rules that like I think even you guys usually do those and I don't.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just I'm
Yeah.
that's just my
That's how you
own
wanna
choice
run
as a DM. Like
Yep.
like I don't want to.
What about you, Malcolm?
what about me, Malcolm?
What's your hardest player type? And I'm sitting here going, Idri going, or actually me playing any character going, nope, your hook's not good enough for me.
That's
So
all
you
narrative.
might be my problem player then, won't you?
Honestly, when you first asked this question, I was like, me. Me.
Thank you for not doing that to me on my first
Me.
ever attempt at being a DM.
So there's something to be said for what you're joking about, which is the contrarian player, the one that is just going to go, well, I'm sorry, Mr. Scorsese, what is my motivation for going down the left path in the woods? Which is good. I think it's that's sort of a gut check for GMs to go, okay, they need a reason. You know what I mean? Like, to go up the stairs where there's the only one set of stairs that could be, and everyone has gone up the stairs, to stand down petulantly at the bottom and call out, why should I, is one thing. But I also think that you cannot ever assume that your players are along for the ride. You've got to make sure that they have a reason to. My most challenging player type that we listed, just from a GM standpoint, it kind of goes to what Jess was saying about plans going awry or the group going off in a direction that they were not intended to, or that we did not expect them to. For me, that is its own set of problems. The one that really throws me is when 4 to 5 out of 6 of the party are on mission doing well, and Craig's like, ooh, is that a coffee stand about a mile away? Oh my gosh, amaretto. And it is just gone. And you're like, okay, they need, because you have the spells and the healing. They're like, no, I'm going to get coffee. And no, hey, the mission's really, really important, but coffee. And you've got that lone wolf who now, because you can't snag that player agency back and go, now you're on a Velcro shackled leash like a toddler at King's Island, and you can't go anywhere. You've got to let Craig go get his coffee. But now you have A, split the party, which yay, win for GMing. But B, now I've got 2 settings. I've got 2 bits of interaction. I've got to figure out how they're going to inform each other. And it's not as though everybody went off. Now I've got 2 camera scenes. I've got to back and forth. And you've got to go in and check on Craig at the coffee. And you also have to make the coffee interesting for Craig. So it's that pivot thing where, Jess, you're completely right. If everybody goes and gets coffee, you've got your own set of issues there. But I think it's also unique for the lone wolf to Chuck playing Wraith in the hallway.
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, that's the exact scene I was thinking of.
He was just like, I'm going to go down the... I was like, well, everybody's kind of preparing for battle here in the room here.
Like, I'm going to go check this out.
And I'm like, okay, what do? You tell the Goliath barbarian with the axe that you can't go look down the hallway. So, like, A, you had to move quickly. Something needed to be down the hallway. And B, it had to matter that person made that choice, too. It doesn't always have to be like a negative consequence. But yes, the lone wolfing is going to affect the pack a little bit. But that was kind of mine.
I think that would probably, I guess, tie into mine as well. Because, like, I think the thing is that, like, the reason I spend so much time preparing is that I want to give the players the best possible game.
Some of the same reasons Katie, Arcadia has always said, is that you have a better end product when you prepare.
Yeah, it's like I'm a writer, I'm a storyteller, I'm not an improv master. Mm-hmm. And what I come up with on the fly, if I have to improv, may not be as good as what I came up with when I had time to sit and think about it. And so if suddenly I have to pivot and then just make shit up on the fly, and this is where
different outcome. Yeah.
I know just me as a person, like I always have to compensate for this as a player. Like I have to fold in some reason why my character may just be suddenly awkward because that happens to me as a person. It's going to happen as a player. It's going to happen as a DM. So when I have to pivot like that and just make shit up on the fly that I didn't prepare ahead of time, that's when I can get awkward.
Sure.
So
the preparing works for you, definitely.
Yeah, so that's why that's my worst fear. I can work with it, but...
We're going to go ahead and do a little quick round robin fun thing. A couple of quick questions before the break here. Go to snack that you have to have at the table. 3, 2, 1, hit me.
Pumpkin seeds.
Pumpkin seeds. Arcadia.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Okay, fantastic. Dice rituals before the game begins.
And you got to answer too.
I don't have to do anything.
I have none. I have a little collection of dice, but I tend to use the digital ones on my phone.
Okay.
Hey!
We get no response time. This is a lightning round, damn it. That's what lightning means, is it strikes and it moves on. Arcadia dice rituals, go.
Have to test out the types of dice I'm going to use. So
how many are in your test pool?
Far too many.
Okay.
More than I could count.
How many D20s are you rolling?
All of my D20s.
All of them?
I roll all of them, and then I whittle them down to those that are rolling the best until I have about 2 or 3 to use for the game.
So you start like 3 months before the game session or something. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break. Thank you for your lightning round answers. We're going to come back and find out a little bit more about the 2 interesting people at the table with me today on Finding a Tori. We'll be right back.
When you sit down at the table, open the books, and spill out the dice, you're looking for an epic adventure. Tabletop role-playing is more popular than ever, and every day new players join our great hobby. My name is Steve Kellums, and I'm the host of the Epic Adventure Podcast. I'm just a fan with a radio voice, but joining me on this quest will be Mike Howlett, the co-founder of Oddfish Games, a great independent game company, and Christina Stiso, a PhD student studying game-based learning. Together, we will discuss all things tabletop gaming, from character creation to world building to setting and pacing. We will give you tips and tricks to make your games, well, epic. Like and subscribe to the Epic Adventure Podcast today.
This episode of Finding a Tori is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. The Finding a Tori podcast is looking for guests for our upcoming episodes. Are you or someone you know passionate about the TTRPG community and have a story to share? If so, contact us on our socials or reach out at wordleafmedia.com/findingatoria. And now back to your program. Welcome back from the break on Finding Atoria. This is Malcolm. I am in the studio with Jess and Arcadia today, and we're having a little get-to-know-you conversation about player styles, GM styles, and just the people that you hear on the other end of this microphone. And we were doing some zany sort of creative stuff at the end, some lightning round stuff, but I wanted to kind of get an idea, and this is a bit different than what sort of tree are you if you were a tree, but I think it kind of gets to the same level of getting to know you. Jess, if you were to have to place a class on you from D&D as a real life human out there in the world, what class are you playing in real life?
Okay, so that you're talking about like just me as a person. What class?
Just
not,
you.
Okay, what class am I already? Not what class would I want to be?
Not what you would want to be, but if you had to, and sometimes it feels like a shoehorn, so we'll give our caveats if we need to, but if you needed to, even dual class it, what is Jess as a PC in the world?
Oh, I think I would be a dual classing wizard bard.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about why. Where's the wizard and where's the bard coming from in your day-to-day?
Okay. Well, bard's easier to answer because I've spent, since I was a kid, immersed in music. Like I started piano lessons when I was like 8, picked up the violin at 10, and I've been playing in orchestras, choirs. I mean, I'm not really active with that anymore, but I played in my college orchestra. I've won awards for singing, like
so
at the state level.
A penchant for the arts, absolutely. Then,
yeah. So that's the bard. Like, the music is still really important. Like, I don't do anything without having music involved. Like, I work with headphones on.
But you write too, which is also a bard's ability. Is the
College of Lore bard,
the written word, right?
Yeah. So there's a lot that fits with the bard.
So tell me why the wizard, though. What do you wizard in your day to day, and how do you align with that class in life?
So I guess my first D&D character was a wizard, and I think part of what appealed to me about that was just like the amount of study involved. And that's kind of like a pursuit of knowledge sort of
tower of magic and the tomes open all over the table.
And like I kind of consider it's like you can do so much with just the right words, like just knowledge and words can, that feels kind of magical in
their
real
own
life to
power,
me.
their own magic. Very
so
cool.
That's why wizard. I like to collect knowledge, and there's a reason you guys call me 3PO.
Okay. All right. We're going to go to Arcadia, and then I'll have a wrap-up question for both of you on this. Arcadia, real life, you've got to carry a character class. What is your PC?
You've been watching the steam come out of my brain as I try to process this.
It's either that or Jess's tea.
Which is now cool enough to drink. Yay.
I struggle with this. I tend to be sort of a jack of all trades type of person. So, probably a ranger.
Bit of an explorer, a nature element there, a lone hunter explorer.
A connection with nature, a desire to be in nature and enjoy nature. I love being outdoors. I love camping. I love being out on water. And I like nurturing nature, plants, animals, things like that. But with all of that, I like to fight. So
I was going to say it leans druid until you get into that that strider aspect of the ranger.
Yeah. And for listeners, I'm not someone who goes out and picks fights and things like that. I like martial things. I like learning martial things. Did martial arts for years.
She taught me martial arts.
So I guess that allows me to sort of combine those two things. And I am a mother, and therefore I am a protector. And I feel like that also fits
the ranger
that role.
Very cool.
Yes, that's where I go.
Yeah, it's like, plus I think ranger's a little bit more versatile than like druid's like nature, right?
Almost to the religion of, right?
Yeah.
Whereas I think you can have an urban ranger if you wanted.
Definitely.
You can.
I know it's not quite the archetype, but I mean, you can apply the finding your way, and you can apply a lot of the things to anywhere, not just you've got favored terrain. That favored terrain can be a lot of different things.
Yep, absolutely.
So
at you, Malcolm.
I think that I would be thrown in the dungeon. I'm probably just a straight bard, a performer, a raconteur, the spoken word, the storyteller.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I know. I was
like we both have bard, but you would be operating on a much higher charisma score than me, that's for sure.
Right. Probably,
I have the wizard stats.
Probably without the intelligence. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's like I got all the intelligence points, but no charisma points. Like none at all.
So that you just walked me into my backup question on this, and then we'll move on to a different one. But what's your dump stat? What are you just not taking?
Like
in real life?
Yeah, I was going to say in our real life.
Real life, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You've said that you're a bard wizard. What's not getting any points on your stat tree?
Well, I've got a really good one for me right now.
Charisma.
Okay. Okay.
You've heard how awkward I can be. There's no charisma there.
I'm just old and retiring, and so dexterity.
Dexterity.
Definitely my challenge right now.
You lose 1 point permanently. Okay.
Unfortunately, given I said I wanted to be a ranger. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. Let's.
No. You.
Oh, intelligence. Yeah. We had to get it all into charisma, didn't we? Yeah.
I don't know. I'd go find a wizard to up the dexterity right now.
Do something for it. Okay, so next question as we come around is something that I think that we did a little bit of when we were talking about what game would you want to play. But once again, I'm speaking more to the people in the studio than the characters or the GMs in the studio. Jess, in the near future, technology has granted us the ability to hit a button on our tech glasses and be transported into the TTRPG world of our choice as ourselves, not an avatar, not a character, but the one that you just described, the dual class wizard bard. Where would you want to spend a week of time? Dangers and wonders abound in a TTRPG setting.
Well, that's tricky. Because
well, thank you. I ask great questions on this program. Ladies and gentlemen, tune in every week for me to be tricky.
Thanks.
and we can go to you. We can go to Arcadia or.
Well, no, the thing is, because like most of them immediately get disqualified for the exact reason of if I am me as myself, then most of these TTRPG worlds are just literally
would
not
you.
survivable. Like I would immediately die. So therefore, none of them. Like if I can be a character that fits within that world.
So we're gonna give you the
I
week.
should have just said I would be a hobbit.
We're
Scouring of the Shire?
No, I'm just not about safety. About if you just me in general. I'm a hobbit.
And you are kind of short. Sorry.
Sorry.
So we're gonna give you the week, Jess.
The one who said it first.
We're gonna assume that you make it back to the pickup site after one
You
week.
survive.
You're going to survive. You've got a week to spend in this world.
Shire.
Where are you going, and why would Jess want to be there?
I mean, if I'm me and not able to fully participate in that world because it's me with my lack of, say, magical powers, no ability to use the Force, etc.
You have no magical powers that I'm aware of. We're not changing the rules this late on. You've got to be there. You want to enjoy or explore or be in what world for 1 week?
I mean, I would have to be pretty specific about it because I don't want to just say, for example, Middle Earth and then get plopped in the middle of Mordor. That would kind of be a shitty week.
Specify it for me.
Like, even if I know I'm going to survive it, a week in Mordor would really kind of suck, right?
Yeah, nobody
Like,
wants a week in Mordor.
No.
Surfing
But, like,
Mount Doom for
if
7 days.
Yeah,
not
no,
the
thank
stuff.
you. But, like, if I got to spend a week in Rivendell, on the other hand, that might be pretty enjoyable.
So Rivendell is yeah. So you would go Middle Earth, but you would specify
Rivendell in particular, or maybe the Shire before the Scouring.
what about Rivendell specifically draws you there? It's just that setting and that wonder of the place. What brings Jess to Rivendell?
Well, in Lord of the Rings, the elves are always my favorite. Like, I like Elrond. He's funny.
Good
Like,
deal.
I guess my impression, at least from at least how he's portrayed in the movies, is just he's a little bit of a troll. It's like in the Hobbit movies, he's clearly screwing with the dwarves.
So
Like, he's got dwarf friends. He knows what they like to eat, and he's feeding them lettuce. Like, you're messing with them.
So you would have the best chance of running into the characters that matter to you most in that world if you were going to Rivendell.
Yeah, and like it's also a haven of safety. I mean, I would likely come away a little bit, less harassed,
Likely
by orcs
to be
and
treated
stuff.
well
Like,
in Rivendell.
I know I would eat and have books, and there would be,
You wear your I Heart Elf shirt. You're good going through
if I
that.
wanted to spend, they literally even describe it, like whatever you like best, there is that available to you at Rivendell. If you want to sit and talk, if you want music, if you want to just read by yourself, like that option is available to you. So like whatever I'm in the mood for, there's gonna be somewhere to do that. So that sounds pretty awesome to me.
It does, and I like the idea that they promise you whatever. Rivendell's pretty easy sell there.
Also, it's pretty. Lots of waterfalls.
Good
gorgeous.
backdrop. All right, Arcadia, 1 week, and yes, you're assumedly going to survive this week. Where would you like to experience you yourself, your own PC there? A TTRPG world.
Okay, it has to be a TTRPG world.
Lord of the Rings does count because they did have that book.
Oh, I would have hit the buzzer a long time ago.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
don't
just
worry about it.
if it was just a fantasy world, I would change my answer. A TTRPG world.
It's funny if you say a fantasy setting and 80 people are going to be like, there's a game for that.
And actually,
They did that
the
game
one
in
that's in my mind, I
1993.
think there is a game for it. It's just wasn't well received, and I think it's more people have homebrewed it. But so I will change my answer to VTM.
You would do the World of Darkness, Dark Nights for a week, huh?
Yeah.
Not getting any sleep. Not doing much. Okay, so Jess took us to Rivendell within Middle Earth. Where are you setting up shop for a week in the Modern Nights?
Well, part of the answer for that is that it's our world. And so even with additional stuff, but it's our world. So as myself, yeah, I don't know that it would have to be a lot different. I would just have to do things to keep myself and my family safe.
So no particular setting. You wouldn't be in London, for example, or Chicago by night. No particular.
I don't. If I'm human, I don't necessarily want to be like close on top of like big vampire clans.
So on the outskirts of the highest Himalayan peak, we find Arcadia.
It's odd, but like when you ask about TTRPG settings, like stupid human that I am, and maybe just stupid 90s child that I am, I don't know. The idea of vampires and werewolves and all that kind of stuff, while it would be awful for humanity in so many ways, is also very intriguing and very interesting to me. So
that is a stark contrast to how Jess is going to be spending her week with the elves, finding whatever she wants, whenever she wants. You've decided to show up as food.
What was the answer you changed it from? Because like you changed your answer to VTM. What were you thinking originally?
So originally I was thinking VTM, and then I broadened it out to like just fantasy worlds. Came around to 2 if I was doing just fantasy, and it would have been Dragon Riders of Pern.
Oh, I want a dragon.
Right? Being on Pern would be...
That would be cool.
Right? Especially depending on the timeline, but if it was like when they knew where they came from and how things happened and all that, like talk to the dolphins a little bit. I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's like post-Ivas.
Yes.
Yeah. Like, because that's the thing. It's like, because that's the only problem with Middle Earth is the dragons are kind of evil, like
right?
Smaug. But yeah, it's like, guys, I want a dragon. That would be amazing.
And then I moved from that to... If it was like just fantasy world, just favorite place to be, it would either be in Valdemar or in a Teledras Vale out of that world.
Those are great answers.
So Mercedes Lackeys,
right?
World of Valdemar.
Once again, I think adapted maybe more than once.
I think it's been like homebrew created,
Sure.
Which is why I pulled away from it. But yeah,
no, very good answers. I think that if I had to spend the week I would probably do something in the. In sort of a Pendragon setting, that high Arthurian court intrigue sort of model, and see if I could make it a week politicking through a Renaissance or medieval court.
Very cool.
That would be my answer. I just think that it would be very, very interesting to see that all play out, but enviable Rivendell and VTM settings as well.
Nothing enviable about a VTM setting. I just would find it intriguing.
Maybe I could learn Elvish. Teach me Elvish, please.
Elvish in 1 week.
Well, I mean, obviously it would take a little bit longer than that for fluency, but I could pick up a little bit while I was there.
So I kind of wanted to throw a curveball at both of you and get to a question that maybe I'm still forming in my mind, and that is somewhat to the idea of when we go into these games and we find time at the table, what is it that you... Because I think that I'm always trying to work on something. I'm always trying to pick up a little bit from the next person. What did you get from someone else's tool bag from a GM standpoint? What did you not maybe hone and craft yourself, or maybe you honed and crafted it after you took a little nugget from seeing or hearing about? And this can be live play that you've seen. This can be just a rule that you saw online that you went, oh my goodness. What have you picked up from another system, another GM that you have been able to bring to the table and incorporate and point back to and say, hey, I remember when I got that and I learned it and now I use it. Is there anything in that realm that comes across?
For me, it's the earliest days of watching my dad DM the game and create the setting and the world and everything. We had tons of the modules, the TSR modules. I don't think I ever saw him actually run straight out of a module. Everything is in a binder. Everything has notes. Everything has additions. And so I guess where I'm going at with that is one that apparently I like to have binders with things tabbed. That is totally what my dad did.
Your preparation is informed by that.
Yeah, as well as this amalgamation of taking what exists, what's been provided by the producers of the game, and melding it to be what you want it to be. Like that's always how I've played. I've never, done pure on straight modules,
someone else's story,
settings, or different stuff like that. It's always sort of been this grab bits and pieces and create something with it.
Very, very cool. I like the earliest of influences there for sure. Jess, anything at all that you've taken and said, hey, this, I saw it work when I was playing, I saw it work when I was watching something else, and I'm going to take a little bit of this and maybe mix in some of me, make it my own, but stuff that you were able to apply that you'd seen work before?
Well, I learned how to be a DM from watching the two of you. Like,
I'm so sorry. All right, well, we're going to stop this short, and we're going to get some YouTube videos for Jess.
So, like, Arcadia was my first GM ever, and then I joined the bigger table once I, my character hit an appropriate level to be able to join in. And so, like, honestly, I don't know if I'm even following how you're supposed to GM, because I'm just doing it the way I learned from watching you guys.
Sure.
And a lot of that is making sure your players are having fun. Like, you guys both run very different tables, but very fun tables. Like, that was the core commonality, was that I had a great time. And it was a good story.
Can we say Funcilitation one more time?
Yes, we're Funcilitates.
I think if it's not out there trademarked, we've got shit to do after this podcast.
And like, so yeah, it's like I had a great time, and the story was so good for both of them. And that informed the core goal of, if I'm going to run a table, the core thing I want to do for my players is have a fun time.
Up at the top over everything else
and
is the fun.
That does mean that when I run a table, I honestly am probably the world's most permissive DM. I will let you do anything if you can justify it within the story. Like, I honestly don't care. Like, you wanted to hang from he's playing as a tabaxi rogue in my campaign, and like wanted to like hang from the ceiling by the tail and just spin and shoot things, bounce. Basically like from Boondock Saints, like that straight from the movie.
You got my reference. Just like that, except for with a tail instead of the fucking rope.
Yeah. And then I've actually seen that movie. That's not the case most of the time. And then like drop into the room and Tigger bounce on the tail. It's like, all right, roll for it, but sure, why the fuck not?
Sure.
Because he's gonna have fun with that.
Had a great time.
Sure, rule of fun is basically, rule of fun and rule of cool is kind of what I learned to.
And taking that across.
Yeah. And that was mostly just my experience from your games, was that it was very cool and I had a lot of fun doing it. So, and yeah, like that does mean if the dice.
Doctor.
If you roll terribly, that is a perfect opportunity for something super silly and super embarrassing to happen.
That's something that I would
Which
hope
is also
that I try to get it to new players and new people just as soon as possible, is because it does it does two things very quickly. Number one is, if you have a terrible roll, it's not going to mess up your time. You get to figure out very quickly that the story will move forward, things will be okay, and it's adding to it. And two, especially for new players, it takes away that I've got to roll well to beat the DM. I've got to come up with some 20s and some 19s and some 18s so that I'm beating their roll. Well, wait a minute. I just rolled as poorly as I possibly could. Everybody's having a riotous good time and the story continues. I think just you can get a lot across by doing that, right?
I think the only other main thing is that like I do tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist, and I want to make sure I run it perfectly for everybody. And I did learn from watching the live stream, or I guess it wasn't live when I watched it, of Critical Role.
Sure.
Was that I can kind of offload some of that to my players who maybe are a little bit more creative than I am in terms of like how certain things shake out. Like, how do you want to do this?
Right.
Is a thing I learned from Matt Mercer. It's like,
sure,
I can only think of so many ways to kill a guy with arrows.
And probably,
but let's have that ranger player, describe what they want to do. They'll have some great ideas that I would never have thought of. So
because they're picturing it in their mind because that's their character doing the thing.
Right.
Definitely.
It's like offload some of that creativity to the players and they come up with things I never would have thought of. And
cool.
It makes the whole thing just a lot better because you can apply that to not just, you've done you laid the final hit on the boss. Like you can apply it to a lot of things of, just letting them take it and run with it.
Right. So. And run with that story. Very, very cool. I think that we found out a little bit about our friends at the table today. Arcadia, Jess, thank you both very much for coming in. Folks, thank you for listening to us. We'd love hearing back from you. You can talk to us on social media. You are welcome to go out to the wordleafmedia.com website and click on the Finding Atoria button. And from there, you can click to our Patreon, support the show. You can leave us a comment on the Word Leaf Media YouTube page. And you can always find us new episodes Thursdays every week. Finding Atoria, guys. It was an early one. We didn't have our tea cool enough to drink initially.
We survived.
It's good now.
We made it through. All right, guys. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you next time on Finding Atoria.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode of Finding Atoria is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. Find us at wordleafmedia.com/Finding Atoria if you or anyone you know has stories or other good things to say about TTRPGs. Get a hold of us. You can find us on all the social medias.
This episode of Finding Atoria is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. Are you interested in sharing stories of your favorite TTRPG experiences? If so, reach out at www.wordleafmedia.com/contact us on our socials, or you can now leave a comment on your favorite Finding Atoria episode at our Wordleaf Media YouTube channel.